This video is brought to you by Squarespace. The Furby, likely the first robot you owned. Likely the first robot any of us owned. In 1998, for only $35, you could get your very own weird, chubby robotic creature that ran on batteries and had no off switch. It was truly the toy pet of the future. We were led to believe the thing was somewhat intelligent, like the first AI, like a robot toy we could talk to. We were all obsessed with Furby. I'm talking Tickle Me Elmo levels of insanity. The resale black market of desperate holiday parents was cresting well over $100 a Furby toy. And the toy craze lasted for years. The brand has managed to survive huge ups and downs for decades, resurging as recently as 2023 with a whole new line of hairy weirdos. But you're watching a Disney Dan video, which means something truly bizarre or horrifying is about to unfold, and unfold it shall. Because what you may not know is Furby's manufacturer Tiger Electronics had the unholy idea to create large human-sized mascot Furby to roam the world in promotion of this toy line. So for the past nearly 3 decades, like giant monstrous furry mothers torn from their young, we've had huge furry Furby costumes take over malls and toy stores around the globe. So grab a fresh pack of AA batteries and your Furbish dictionary. This mascot evolution is about to get weird. When Furby finally hit the shelves in 1998, there were lots of marketing events and promotional tools used to market these brand new toys. Multiple giant Furbies were built, with most of them just being huge static statues you could find in toy stores, but not all of them were statues. In New York City's FAO Schwartz, they held a red carpet event to usher Furby into the store, where we see the first awkward costume make its debut. Ladies and gentlemen, the church mouse Furby costume. I gotta say, I like this thing. It's proportionate to a Furby, you know, scaled up large enough to fit a human being inside of it, but it's oddly slender, which I think is hilarious because clearly this thing had to make it through like a doorway, you know, like an ADA accessible commercial front door of a store. So they had to make sure to build it skinny enough. And if you watch the clip, this weird, you know, like media clip from the event, like they almost had to like wiggle the Furby through the door to get into the store. And they're like, there you go, Furby, we got you, buddy. I love it. It has a lot of the same range of motions as the toy. Its eyes could blink, and bizarrely, it had like these weird, like flappy bat wing ears that could articulate up and down. It's a look. Like you look at it, you know it's a Furby, but it's like bizarrely not a Furby. It's like a Furby on Ozempic, you know? It's like a weird skinny Furby. I'm just gonna say this now as we dive into this Furby history. It's hard to find pictures of these weird Furbies. So you're gonna find weird archival footage, lots of weird like fan club booklet photos, but we got pictures, we got videos, but like, you know how everything was in the double aughts when the internet was new, everything was filmed with a potato. I can't believe the compression on half of these videos that I have found about Furby history. Like, my God, could we have added like at least 3 more pixels? A year after the Furbies' debut in America, Furby craze swept Japan, and a new giant Furby mascot was there in Tokyo for the toy debut. Now, there's not a lot of photos of this giant mascot, but we know it exists thanks to the Furby Club booklet that was distributed in 1999 promoting the event. This thing is massive. The booklet had like this silhouette of the mascot itself with some dimensions on it, so we know that this thing was almost 5.5 feet tall and 4.5 feet wide. And then another one of these Furbies, aka Skunk, this is the Skunk Furby, was kind of retooled for a second appearance a few months later in August at the Furby Summit that took place in Harajuku, Japan. It was a limited party event for like super Furby diehard fans right when the craze started, and you know, it was like a Furby party, but they had like a big Furby that like they talked to, and it spit its gibberish out at us. It's crazy. These Furby Skunk Japan costumes are gorgeous. But then, not to be outdone, that same year in 1999, Furby reappeared at the New York Toy Fair, and there's this one tiny clip from this news report of this Furby on the street. Why did we make these Furbies so thin? It looks just like the Church Mouse FAO Furby costume just reskinned with the Skunk Furby look. I don't know. I don't know if they built multiples of these or just one that they kept redressing, but... Okay, now it's time to get to Furby Babies. Remember Furby Babies? They like spoke a new, Furbish language, more evolved than the previous Furby, but they could still talk to the original Furby thanks to like their like third eye. Their like technology third eye where they could all see and talk to each other. And to celebrate the release of Furby Babies, New York City went crazy. The new Furby Baby toy line had a grand debut in Times Square's Toys R Us flagship store, wherein an ambulance, fully wrapped in Furby Baby marketing, arrived to Toys R Us, sirens blaring, and birthed from the back, delivered from this real ambulance, were 3 life-size Furby mascot costumes. Amazing. I have no notes. This is the greatest piece of marketing stunt I've ever seen. An ambulance delivering Furby Babies to a toy store. Chef's kiss. What else could you want? Look at these massive things as they're pulled out of the back of the ambulances. Likely impossible to move in or really see in, but thankfully guided by hordes of assistants dressed like doctors and nurses. There were 3 different Furby Babies that appeared that day. Church Mouse, a version of the first mascot we saw at FAO a year earlier, a giraffe print Furby, obviously for Jeffrey the giraffe, and then finally the 90s tie-dye Furby Baby. To have been there, to have just been on the streets of New York, just walking by casually, to see an ambulance rush up to the toy store. Oh no, someone's injured. No, there's no injury. There's no stretcher in there. There's 3 college interns wearing shells of Furbies. Oh, Furbies. There is a significant struggle to get these Furby costumes out of the back of this ambulance. Like, they're on the struggle bus, God bless them, but they did it, and none of the Furbies like fell over and a kid fell out of the bottom, like they maintained the illusion pretty well.
How do the Furbies talk to one another?
Furbies are a community, all right? There's lots of great YouTube videos out there of people having like rings of Furbies that they all turn on at the same time and they all start talking to each other. But they have their own language, and they yell at each other, and they beam like Vision, from the MCU. They beam something out of their special forehead gem to other Furby forehead gems, and they all start to talk. They all start to yapper on. You're right, you bring your Furby to my house with my Furby, and remember, these Furbies had no off switch. The Furbies were always on. The only way to turn a Furby off is to take the batteries out of the Furby, and that requires a screwdriver, and as a kid, where are you gonna find a screwdriver that small? Your Furby was always on. Waking up in the middle of the night, terrifying your sleep, haunting you. Modern Furbies, they just use Bluetooth or whatever to talk to each other. But old school Furbies were no different than grandma's TV remote. You know what I mean? Like pressing channel 13 for the news. But it was just Furbies beaming each other thoughts and technologies. All right, once again, Japan continues to show us up as a country when it comes to amazing costumes, because in 2000, Fur Babies finally got to Japan, and they were a huge hit. And oh no, this is where things get real weird again, Kenny, because outside of a toy store in Harajuku, Japan, at Kitty's store was a giant egg that was delivered outside on the streets of this store with a countdown timer underneath it. So here we are again, a giant egg containing another weird mascot reveal, and on the day of the Furby Baby release, the egg exploded and a huge pink Furby inflated out of it. Oh my gosh, we gotta stop this, guys. Goobly Gooker, we can't show a clip of him because WWE will take this whole video down. Oregon Duck now came out of an egg. There's so many great mascot egg reveals, and Furby is in the group. They're in the club. Egg. Kitty Toy Store made this stunning Furby Baby costume. This might be the ultimate mascot costume of the entire video. Look at how gorgeous and proportionate this tiny little pink baby is. It just looks like they took the Wayne Selinsky enlarger gun and just zapped a Furby and it blew up. So in 2001, as the Furby craze began to die off, Tiger Electronics got a little desperate and they tried something wild and new. They brought a new Furby to the world, a Shelby. And this was a grumpy Furby. This is an Oscar the Grouch-esque Furby, always hiding in his shell, didn't really want to make friends, and it was more marketed towards boys, like Coke Zero. Like you watch commercials for Shelby, and it's nothing but boys playing with the toys. Ah, this Furby hates me, hooray! Because it was the grumpiest Furby. Now they they made a live mascot version of the Shelby, and this thing is easily the weirdest one on the list. Its shell hung creepily over its eyes, making it look extremely sinister. Like he had these like sunken Palpatine eyes in this mascot costume. You know, like Shelby would roll into the room and he'd be like, "Good, let the Furby hate flow through you." And then it had these like droopy antennae, which were called tennies. Shelby's tennies were a little droopy. Hashtag droopy Shelby tennies. All right, so leave those in the comments. It's about half the size of other Furby costumes, so it's really short. So I imagine that someone's like sitting in there, you know, crisscross applesauce style, you know, like driving this thing around like a parade float. When they finally brought Furby back in 2005, things did not get better. Because around 2005, there was a new line of hyper-realistic animals that hit the market called For Real Friends. You remember these things? And so Furby's like, we gotta get back in there. The realistic creature robot toys are big right now. Quick, let's make Furby look as realistic as possible. And we got this emotronic Furby that's like twice the size of any previous Furby and had its IR sensor removed from its forehead to make it look more realistic. Its beak and eyelids were now made of like a soft, like spongy silicone to like give it like a more realistic, fleshy, like lip feel. And the mascot that they built for this line of Furbies will haunt your dreams forever. Like this thing's dead fleshy like lips and ears and its bizarre toes that kind of look like udders peeking out from under the mascot. What's going on with this Furby's toes? They're like bizarre peanuts, fleshy peanuts. Like I feel like that's where you get Furby milk from. Is Furby milk a thing? I think it is now. This thing made a couple appearances. There's this one picture I saw where it's like wearing like a flower lei, like in Hawaii, like having a great time. I love it. And what's so funny about the costume is, despite the fact that they removed the IR sensor from the toys, they still had to put like some kind of vision port in for the Furby mascot actor. And so where the IR sensor was on the toy is now just like a bald spot for the guy to see out of. It's kind of hilarious. This thing makes me feel things, makes me feel bad things. I feel bad when I look at it, like I shouldn't be looking at it, you know? Like I'm upsetting God just by acknowledging its existence. And to continue with the super weird Emototron Furby line, in 2005, in Italy, La Pina, an Italian radio DJ, appeared in a truly unique Furby costume that sort of did the rounds in Europe to promote the Furby line, and it has legs. Are you seeing what I'm seeing here? This is a Furby with legs. Also, it has like a weird, bumpy, broken nose that looks like an Owen Wilson Furby. Like, what's going on with its whole, like, with that space between its eyes? Like, what is that? What am I seeing here? And the ears of this costume are particularly special because they are articulate. The ears are the sleeves for the arms of the person inside. So the Furby ears can wave and wiggle all the way around. We saw Dumbo do this actually iconically in his 1999 costume found at Walt Disney World. And so this is a fun little gag for characters with big ears. Put the arms in the ears and let them wiggle around. Furbies really entered the future in 2012 with the introduction of the Furby app and app-enabled Furbies on the shelves. Now your Furby just wasn't limited to what you could yell at it and what it could yell back at you. Now you had a tablet. You could like push buttons and interact with it. It's kind of cool. So to promote the futuristic Furby technology, a weird live show was born called Furby Live that was essentially just a giant commercial for how the new Furby app worked. This costume is so strange. It's like a weirdly shaped chicken nugget. It's got this bizarre front bulge that's very unsettling to me. It's wild watching these things wiggle around on stage. There's two of them, a blue one and a pink one. And these new Furbies had special LCD screen eyes. So for the first time ever, the Furby mascots had these very pixelated like eye designs. I like how the blue Furby costume particularly has something going on with it. Like it had a stroke or something. Like its pupils are definitely two different sizes. Someone should check on the blue Furby. I don't think it's doing well. Yeah, the pink one's got that front bulge. Like, what is that? What is that bizarre Furby fupa? I can't say Furby fupa on the Disney Jets. Can I say Furba? A brand new line of Furbies was just released in 2023, and the Furby craze has returned. These things sold out hard for a price tag of $70 a piece now. Quite the change from 1998's $35 Furby price tag. And boy, they flew off the shelves, and there has been a whole nother, desperate holiday black market Furby craze that's been going on, with Furby selling for well over $100 a pop for these new guys. But they're really, really cool Furbies. Couple of things. Their eyes light up. It's now got like a glowing gem on its forehead in place of that IR sensor, and they're just cool, rad, like disco colors. It gives me a lot of Trolls energy. And this Furby has over 600 phrases it can now say and interact with you, which is a wild. That's a lot of Furby talk. So a new costume was of course made to promote this new line of Furbies, and this thing is stunning. Look at this little guy stomping around. It looks exactly like the Furby toys off the shelves. Those big, bright, colorful feet, because of course the new Furby's gotta dance. And then of course the glowing ears, the glowing gem, like everything is like perfectly recreated for this mascot. Like no notes. This is perfect. Like chef's kiss. My gosh, build me 7 more of these things. I love them. So it turns out these robotic hairy birds weren't exactly the future technology we all hoped for, but what is the future technology is the powerful tools at squarespace.com to help you build websites easy. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all in one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with fully integrated commenting systems that support threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. Automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too. And don't forget to check out Squarespace's Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace. It's never been easier to unlock your unbreakable creativity. Extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage your inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. It's gonna take so little energy building an amazing website that you're not gonna need to change your AA batteries. Keep those AA batteries in, man. Keep them in so long they get crusty. You know how AA batteries get? My batteries are crusty, I'll tell you that much. But you know whose batteries aren't crusty? Squarespace's. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/DisneyDan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The god of Furby only knows what future is held for these weird fuzzy creatures. Who knows what bizarre and interesting things we might see birthed in the name of Furby in the future. We've had a wild ride. There's been some really, really weird costumes. The only reason I really found out about this Furby line of mascot costumes is because of a Furby superfan that reached out across the holy social medias to me, letting me know of its existence and providing me all kinds of research and reference that helped make this video possible. So I know there's a lot of other company mascot superfans out there that have the knowledge they can share with me to make weird new evolution history videos on this channel happen. So reach out to me and let me know what you guys have in mind, because I would like to start working on the super weird stuff. Special thanks has to go out, of course, to the ultimate Furby fan, Mochi, who helped me with tons of research and referencing here, an avid Furby fan and a Twitch streamer, so go check them out and give them lots of love. Furby love. Which is just, I guess, yelling at someone in a strange language they can't understand, and never turning off. And never shutting up until your batteries are taken out. And of course, special thanks to Sean, who brought me all of these Furbies from his Furby collection. Head over to Please Stop Vlogging to check out our interview with Sean, breaking down all of these amazing Furbies that he has, and he's selling right now on eBay. So if you see Furbies on this set that you're like, oh, I gotta get that rare Furby, well, head on over to Sean's eBay and buy them. Get these Furbies while they're hot. He's got some good ones. You have to check out this vlog. The Furby lore that we explored in it is amazing. So thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, now all these Furbies are worth even more. They're famous Furbies. These are Furbies as seen on Disney Dan. So cha-chang, cha-chang. Yeah, make it rain money, Kenny, right now. Look at that. All right, Furby fans, well, there's the full history of Furby mascot costume characters. Let me know in the comments below or across all the holy social medias if you had any chance to interact with a Furby out there in the wild, or if you are an avid Furby owner yourself, let me know what your favorite Furby is. I want to hear all of your Furby tales. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, you rock. At a certain point in Furby marketing, they're like, oh yeah, your Furbies can learn English. They start with speaking Furbish, and eventually they learn English, and the NSA put out a press release to their employees saying, do not bring any Furbies on property or near your workstations. Furbies can learn. It turned out that just the programming, they just started speaking English like after like 50 plus interactions. It wasn't listening whatsoever. The toy had no microphone. It was just a marketing ploy.